Nationals back home taking care of business last night, knocking off the San Francisco Giants 5-1 behind Gio Gonzalez. And tonight it's Steven Strasburg going for his 16th win of the season against the Giants. Happy to have you with us tonight. Welcome to our telecast. Johnny Holiday along with FP Santangelo. Bob still taking a couple of days off. Big news off the top of our show tonight. Ryan Zimmerman back on the DL today. 15 days retro back to August the 1st. Brian Goodwin has been brought up from AAA Syracuse. But how about when you talk about young guys like Goodwin, you got to throw in the conversation a guy named Trey Turner, 23 years old, home runs in back-to-back games. One last night.
He just added so much energy to this ball club. They've been searching for a leadoff hitter all season long, Desi Baker's club, and Trey Turner's added serious energy. A true leadoff hitter with a little bit of pop. He's had multi-hit games in 3 of his last 4. How about his last 11 games? 362 average, 9 RBI, 10 runs scored, and 5 for 5 in stolen bases in his last 11 games. So he's exactly what the Nats need at the top of the order. So check the leadoff hitter box, check the closer box. This team is rolling, Johnny.
Most teams have no success whatsoever against Steven Strasburg. Tonight, he goes for that 16th win of the year, won 5 of his last 6 starts.
Yeah, lefties this year against Steven Strasburg hitting 181. That's the 4th lowest among pitchers in the big leagues and the lowest by a right-hander. Lefties, 181. That's incredible.
Coming off that 14-1 win over Arizona on Sunday. How about Mark Melancon, called in last night to make his home debut for the Nationals, only his 2nd appearance of the season. He's getting the job done. 1 hit, 3 innings pitched, no walks, 4 strikeouts in those 2 appearances. Back with more Nats and Giants tonight from Nationals Park in a minute. Nationals Baseball Unmasked, brought to you by PNC Bank. That's for the achiever in you, and by visitannapolis.org. Create your moment at visitannapolis.org and do it soon. Great night for a ball game. We had 34,000 on hand, 34,000 plus last night. Another perfect weather condition. The weatherman cooperating as he did last night, and today a little shower earlier this afternoon. 83 temperature at game time and humidity 74. And there's the Giants starting lineup tonight with Denard Span leading it off in center field. Eduardo Nunez will bat second. Then Brandon Belt at first tonight for the Giants. Buster Posey moves from first out to behind the plate to catch Matt Cain. Brandon Crawford at short. Hunter Pence in right. Joe Panik will be the second baseman. Gregor Blanco hitting 8th in left field, and Matt Cain on the mound tonight for the Giants. It's Steven Strasburg, 58% fastball. Has he been dynamite this year, FP?
I'd say so. 15-1's pretty good. He was a 14-1 winner last start in Arizona. 6 innings, gave up just 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 6 D-backs, walked 2. Through 99 pitches, last start that fastball averaged 95. Slider, curveball change to complement it. And we have been liking what we're seeing from Steven this year, obviously.
Yep, 69 and 38 for his career in the major leagues.
Well, check out his last 2 starts on the road. Just total domination. And we could talk about stats all you want, and it's fun to look at his stats, but just the person and what he's become as a pitcher this year is what I've really enjoyed watching. Nothing distracts this guy anymore. An error behind him, so what? He's coming right back in the strike zone. A bad call, so what? The body language from Steven Strasburg, night and day, since he came off the DL for the second time last year.
No question about that, exactly. He only had to work 6 innings against the Giants the last outing in that 14-1 thrashing of San Francisco, or rather of Arizona. Gave up 1 earned run, 3 hits with 6 strikeouts and only 6 innings on the mound. And this game is underway with Denard Span, his former teammate, stepping in. With the base hit last night, went 1 for 4 in the opener of this series, and that's fouled out of play.
But we talk about body language a lot. Just the way he stands on the mound out of the windup this year is different from before. His hands are lower. It's almost like he's bigger out there. And just the mound presence when he's standing there on the windup.
Is that just because he's getting a little bit older, a little bit more mature, more experience?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe he's got the contract now. He's relaxed.
that'll do it real quick.
Or just getting it.
Yeah.
Some guys get it later than others. It's been fun to watch.
He sure is. 161 strikeouts, 38 walks this year for Steven. He's thrown 133 and 2/3 innings, and the July pitcher of the month in the National League.
Yeah, that right there. That's mound presence.
Yeah. Yeah, the 1-2. And Denard Span is gone. Nice way to start off a ball game with his first strikeout of the night.
Well, Denard's played behind Steven enough, but that's the first time he's faced him. And the curveball for strike 3, a beauty from Steven Strasburg, and that's how this one starts. A strikeout from the big right-hander.
I have to correct myself. I said 161 strikeouts. It'd be 162 now. Eduardo Nunez, the Giants' second baseman, steps in. He's 0 for 3 last night with a walk and a strikeout. Just underway, line drive to left field. That's a base hit for Nunez, who comes in hitting only 100. Going to try for 2. The throw is late, off the mark, and Nunez slides head first in for the double.
Well, got to feel good for Eduardo Nunez, hitting just 100 as a San Francisco Giant, but a well-placed base hit over third. Jason Worth hustling for it. I think he had to rush the throw because of Nunez's speed, so a hustle double for the Giants' third baseman, their first hit of the night. Good swing.
Yep. That'll bring up Brandon Belt, hitting 283, the first baseman for the Giants. He's got 12 home runs and 53 driven in. And Strasburg a check of Nunez down at second. And a swing and a miss on a fastball. Well, since the break, Belt has really struggled for San Francisco, hitting only 190. Going 12 for 63, couple of home runs, 6 RBIs in 18 games. And that pitch is high and a changeup. And the guys working the ball game tonight, Carlos Torres at behind home plate, Rob Drake at first, Sam Holbrook umpiring at second, and Jerry Davis down at third. The Giants coming out of the break after the All-Star game are only 2-10 on the road. That's the worst numbers in all of Major League Baseball. And a swing and a miss on a fastball at 95.
And this is an area that Bruce Bochy's team has to get better. In their last 8 games, they're 10 for 71, a 140 average with runners in scoring position. So if they're going to hold off the Dodgers, this is one part they must get better at.
They've only got a 2-game lead over Los Angeles in the West. And the 1-2 to Brandon Belt. And a check of Nunez, the throw back to second and safely. One of the problems with the Giants, giving up a lot of home runs. The second half of the season, 30 the pitching staff has allowed. That's tied with Kansas City for the most in the major leagues. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 down here at the top of the first. And as was Span struck out, Belt swings through a fastball at 95, becomes Stevens' second strikeout victim.
This country hardballed him right here. Fastball right down the middle. His best bolt for the strikeout. Second one.
No, but 2 down. Buster Posey will step in. He went 0 for 4 last night with a strikeout, as Gio Gonzalez pitched one of his better games of the season. Went 7, gave up the 1 run, the 2 hits.
Well, here's the defense for the Nats behind Steven. Worth, Revere, Harper, your outfield. Espinosa, Rendon, left side. Turner, Murphy, right side. And Wilson Ramos behind the plate. So Trey Turner at second tonight. He was in center field last night. And who knows where he'll be tomorrow.
And the 1-0 pitch from Strasburg to Buster Posey from Albany, Georgia. Catches the outside corner with a fastball for strike at 95. Steven winning his last 2 starts at Cleveland 4-1, at Arizona 14-1. And the Pirates and Mets and Reds all beat them. With a fastball outside, 2 balls and a strike. Hunter Pence in this road trip 4 for 17. Buster Posey 3 for 13 in this road trip. Long drive to right. That's in the gap, and racing for it and making a terrific catch is Ben Revere.
Wow.
You kidding me? You got reason to smile.
Well, it's good communication there. Bryce was behind him in case he hit the wall, but watch him kind of level out and run parallel to the wall. Reach as far as he can to take at least a double away from Buster Posey and a run.
As we head to the bottom of the first at Nationals Park, no score. Giants with a base hit by Nunez, that double. And the Nats will lead it off with Trey Turner and then Jason Worth and Bryce Harper. And did Turner get a hold of one last night, FP? Second home run, third in his career.
A sneaky pop. He'll face Matt Cain tonight. 2-1 with a 6.39 and 3 starts since returning from the DL.
That ball has popped up behind the plate. Posey may have a play on it. Just barely gets in the stands.
That was on July 20th when Matt came off the DL. Last start was on the 31st against the Nats. 5 shutout innings, and he did not, I repeat, he did not give up a hit. 5 strikeouts, 4 walks, 93 pitches. The first starter to be pulled after 5 innings with a no-hitter intact this season.
Only the 6th Giants pitcher in their history to have 100 wins or more. Giants pitcher since the break, earned average way up there, almost at 5. Bouncing ball to second. Panic's got it. And Turner with that quick speed, the ball is thrown away almost in the dugout.
He beat that. I mean, the throw was wild, but he beat that. I'm watching him run the whole time. We know he can fly. I think he's the fastest guy in the big leagues. But as soon as this ball hops for the second time and Panic's coming in, you know Turner's got a chance. Watch where the throw is in relationship to Turner. He beat this. They should score this a base hit. Because of Turner's speed, obviously Panic looked up and I'm not going to say Panic. He rushed because he had to. Panic would be way too easy. And Turner beats it out. So there's your first hit of the night. There goes the no-hitter. Trey Turner with an infield single. And man, is he ever exciting.
Got to drive pitchers nuts as well as infielders nuts. So Turner on at first base. Had to bring up Jason Worth. He was 1 for 4 last night. And Turner beats out an infield hit.
We're working on a time for you. I guarantee you it's below 4.
You know, Espinosa's fast, but I think Turner's faster than he is.
Well, yeah, he's the fastest guy in the big leagues, Johnny, so he would be faster than Danny. I like to see him race Billy Hamilton. I think he's faster.
Matt Cain to check of Turner. There he goes. The throw down to second base and way late. And Turner's got his 9th stolen base of this season.
Maybe he has his 9th stolen base. It was close.
They're going to challenge.
So the call these days, just a suggestion. So Sam Holbrook suggested safe. We'll look at it together again. Look how fast. Good throw by Buster Posey, by the way, to make it that close. Trey Turner got a good jump. Did he get in there? Ooh.
Mighty close. Huh?
Ooh.
I don't know.
I think they might have got him on the hip. Might be out.
That's a tough call.
I think Bruce Bochy has to look at this, even though it's the bottom of the first.
Sure he does. And he will.
What a throw by Buster Posey. Trey Turner 8 for 8 on the season. This would be his first caught stealing, and it's not looking good. Which, as Nats fans know, if I'm saying that, there's a good chance he's safe.
Well, Trey stole 52 bases down in the minor. Here's one more look at it, and
I think they got him.
I think you may be right. And a terrific throw from Posey down to Crawford.
Pretty good tag by Crawford, by the way. He let the ball travel and then slaps the tag on. So it's got to be conclusive, right, to overturn it? And is that tag on his ribs before his hand gets there? I think it is, and I think they're going to overturn it. We shall see. I've been wrong 400 times this year.
I counted 396.
Yeah, 400.
Yeah. And they continue to look at it. Trey Turner, an amazing career down at North Carolina State. Playing for the Wolfpack, ACC Player of the Year, All-American. Young kid from down at Boynton Beach, Florida. Only played 20 games this year with a big club, and he is out at second.
First caught stealing, and they got it right. Let's concentrate on the throw from Buster Posey. I mean, you talk about getting rid of one. First of all, there's Trey Turner. Got a good jump. Buster, just watch him get rid of this. Good pitch to throw on, almost like a modified pitch out, up and in. It kept his front shoulder closed. Maybe allowed him to get a little bit more on it. And a good tag by Brandon Crawford gets Trey Turner.
One of the first time, as you mentioned, FP's been thrown out all year. And the pitch inside, a curveball at 75 to Jason Worth. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. In the bottom half of the first inning. That's 65 and 44, won 4 straight. They got a 7-game lead over the Marlins, 9-game lead over the New York Mets. And the Dodgers certainly feeling they're right with the Giants in the West, trailing only by 2. And the count's even at 2 balls, 2 strikes to Worth. Hitting .254. 13 home runs, 46 RBIs. He's got 4 stolen bases. And then Matt Cain with a 2-2 pitch. Outside for ball 3. Matt Cain, 15th start for the Giants. He's given up 13 home runs this year, same as Strasburg in his starts. And the pitch, swing and a miss. And that's the first strikeout for Matt Cain. And the net starting lineup tonight, Trey Turner leads it off with Worth hitting second. Harper will hit third. Daniel Murphy in the cleanup spot. Then Wilson Ramos hitting fifth, with Anthony Rodon, Danny Espinosa, Ben Revere, and Strasburg to follow. Against right-handers, Murphy hitting .369, the highest in the major leagues. And Bryce with an RBI last night with a 1-for-3 night. As you see his numbers, that's popped out of play, not in foul territory behind the San Francisco dugout.
You've seen that so many times from Bryce this year. Let's set the defense for the Giants behind Matt Cain tonight. Blanco, Spahn, Pence, the outfield. Crawford, Nunez left side. Panic Belt right side. Buster Posey behind the plate. Denard Span, our old friend in center. And we just saw Buster's incredible throw to get Trey Turner.
And the pitch to Harper misses outside with a slider at 86. And the 1-1 pitch. Low for a ball. FP, in the day of free agency, sure is nice to see one guy stay with one ball club so far his entire career, as Matt Cain has.
He's had a fantastic career. 3 rings.
Yeah. All-star. 3 times.
Talked to the guys about facing him last time. They said he was so effectively wild that if you have a game plan against him, it was hard to implement it and stay with it, because he was just throwing the ball all over the place in the 4 walks. So I guess that's effectively wild. If you go up there and say, hey, I'm looking for a fastball down and away, that's my game plan, and you never get anything close to it. Yeah. And that's why he gave up no hits his last start.
The ball club has only won 6 games and lost 8 in his starts this year, and Harper strikes out. And that'll retire the side for the Nationals. They do get a base hit. We go to the top of the second, scoreless. Syracuse, making his first trip to a major league dugout, looking around and enjoying it. This happened Sunday to Ryan Zimmerman. That's why Goodwin's here.
Yeah, Santiago Casilla threw a sinker up and in. Hit Ryan in the wrist, and you were hoping that nothing was broken, and nothing is. It's just muscle and nerve, and he's having trouble swinging, so they decided to put him on the DL. Retroactive, obviously. He's got 5 days already on it. Just a tough break.
Is there a tougher luck player in the major leagues than Ryan Zimmerman? 7th time in 6 years. 2nd consecutive, or twice this year on the DL. Yeah, we wish Ryan well and hope he gets back soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now it's 0-1 to Brandon Crawford. It's from the left side for the Giants. That pitch inside with a fastball at 91 from Strasburg, and it's 1-1 count. No score. Top of the 2nd.
Let's go deep inside the numbers. Check this out. Matt Cain lefties this year hitting .341 against them. That's his 2nd highest. Steven Strasburg lefties hitting just .181, 6th lowest. And that's the lowest for any right-hander in baseball. There's some lefties that are a little bit lower, but Steven is the lowest.
And the count's 3-1 now to Brandon Crawford. Steven 17 pitches, 10 strikes so far. Hunter Pence on deck, then Joe Panik. A pop down the third baseline, and Rendon's got a beat on it in foul territory and hauls it in. And Crawford the first out here in the 2nd.
Come out to Nats Park Monday, August 22nd for Crab Feast on the Field. That's presented by Budweiser. Enjoy steamed Maryland blue crab, sides, and all-you-can-drink Budweiser and Bud Light. Soda and water, too, if you want it. You can watch the Nats take on the Orioles on the big screen. Tickets start just $60. Visit Nationals.com/crabfeast. Sounds like a good deal to me.
Sounds good. You're not kidding. Hunter Pence has got a home run off Strasburg in his career. He's 5 for 19, hitting .263 career against Steven. And on the year .293 with the Giants right fielder. The fastball outside. Joe Panik on deck, then Gregor Blanco. And then Matt Cain. And the count goes to 2-1. Nats have had good success against the Giants at this ballpark since 2011. They're 13-3. And a swing and a miss. And a fastball at 96.
So Steven's been throwing Hunter Pence a few cutter slider things, and this one's a 2-seam fastball, some run. It looked like Pence was thinking about the rest of the pitches being away, and that one came back in.
Yeah, the 2-2 foul back. Strasburg last 6 starts, 5-1 with 43 strikeouts. And the club giving him a lot of run support this year, almost averaging 6 runs a game every time he gets a start. Facing San Francisco, good support.
Oh,
ooh. Bounced up, caught him right there in the jaw.
Maybe the eye.
Whoa.
That's going to swell up in a hurry.
You're not kidding.
It might already be swollen. Oh, look at that.
You can see that.
Oh, no. Yeah, he hit it hard right off the plate. It came back up and got him right in the eye. And it's already swollen, and that's going to get even worse. I hope he's okay. Oh.
Oh, my good.
I mean, they just got Hunter Pence back. Look at the seams.
I'm just looking at the seams there, yeah.
Look at the seam to the baseball. There's already a mouse under his eye. You got to get some ice on that. I think concussion, too, is in play here. Is he going to stay in?
And Pence is trying to lobby to stay in the ball game.
He's trying to talk his way in. He's not going to be able to see in about an inning, though. This is good stuff right here. Look at this. Talk about a gamer. Yeah. It's getting bigger as he's pleading to stay in the game.
Yeah. Saying, I'm fine. I'm fine. Really?
I'll tell you what, if I'm on the Giants bench right now, that pumps me up beyond all belief. I'm ready. I mean, I was probably ready when I saw Nunez stretch the single into a double, but when I see my leader take one off his eye and stay in the game, that's got to fire you up. It's firing me up here.
And you could clearly see the seams of the baseball right there under his right eye. So Pence says, I'm all right. Let's continue. And Pence is strikeout number 3 for Stephen Strasburg. I'll bring up Joe Panik. He's hitting .243 on the year. 35 knocked in and 7 home runs. And a fastball at 95. Misses. We've got 2 down here in the second inning. And a high pop down the third baseline. Rendon giving chase. Espinosa giving chase in the stands. Nice catch by Dandy. Flips it back to a fan.
I see the ranks for Stephen Strasburg this season. Wins, #1. Winning percentage, #1. ERA, very nice. And the rest, pretty bueno, too.
And Panik with the count now. 2 balls and a strike.
1 for 13 on the road trip is Joe Panik. Just off the DL, trying to find his swing.
High fly ball down the left side. That's going to be out of play as well. Panik had a scary moment as well. He got drilled in the head at Tampa Bay by one of the pitchers. High pop to short. Espinosa's got it. And the Giants are retired. Daniel Murphy's hit safely in 17 of his last 19. He'll lead it off for the Nationals.
Mark, entering this season, Daniel Murphy didn't really have a reputation as a big power hitter, excluding the 2015 postseason, of course. But this year he's put up some really impressive power numbers, and that includes when he's gotten 2 strikes on him. Murphy has a .532 slugging percentage this season when he's gotten into 2 strike counts. That's the best mark in the National League. And to put that number into perspective, Murphy's highest slugging percentage in a full season entering this year was last year when he slugged .449. So that's more than 80 points lower than his 2-strike slugging percentage this season. Murphy has 21 homers this year, 9 of them, guys, with 2 strikes. He's working counts, and he's doing damage when he gets 2 strikes on him.
Thank you, Dan. That's our Coons.com sideline report. Over 2 million vehicles sold and counting. Daniel Murphy steps in 27 for 66 during this streak of hitting safely in 17 of 19. .422 average, 6 homers, and 15 runs scored. Bouncing ball to second. Panic's got it. Fires on the belt, and there's 1 down.
Well, it makes sense what Dan's talking about with the slugging percentage with Murph. Teams try to finish him off in late, and they've had trouble getting in there. He's so quick on the inner half, especially with the fastball. And a lot of times they leave it out over, so that makes perfect sense that he's doing damage with 2 strikes.
Wilson Ramos will face Matt Cain for the first time tonight. He had his 17th home run last night. And that's a new career high for the Nats catcher.
Back-to-back games with homers. Last night, a low laser to center.
Breaking ball at 75. Inside for ball 1. Wilson having a banner year, 61 RBIs, went 1 for 2 last night and drove in 2 of the Nationals' 5 runs.
So the Tater last night for his career high. Well, it's a couple of nights ago. I just like to watch him watch it. I feel like I'm going to get hit as a broadcaster watching him watch him, but it's fun.
He does like to watch you go out of the park, doesn't he?
This is one last night, a bullet to straightaway center field. So Wilson is having a career year, and we've been having fun watching it.
Wilson to Turner, back-to-back homers and back-to-back games. And the count to Ramos, 2-1. Matt Cain with a record of only 3-6 this year. Bouncing ball is short. Crawford across the belt. There's 2 up and 2 down. Since coming off that DL back in July 20th, Matt Cain is 2-1 on only 3 starts. And he will face Anthony Rendon, then Espinosa on deck. And Rendon yet to get a hit off Matt Cain in his career.
It's starting to heat up big time too since July 16th. 328.
And Cain starts him off with a fastball that's high. Nats as a team this year batting .253. The Giants just a little better at .259.
You saw with Rendon last year, he's all dinged up. One injury after another. DL, coming off the DL. You're seeing it with Joe Panik right now. When you go on the DL and you come back off in August, the game is moving so fast, it blows your mind. You go down to the minor leagues, it's not moving that fast. You get in the big leagues, and everybody's got the accelerator floored.
Yeah.
And the game just is moving real fast, and it's hard to catch up. I think he's saying, okay. And I think Bruce Bochy's going to challenge this. I don't know if that hit Anthony.
Bochy doesn't believe it.
Well, Exmo doesn't lie. What do we got? Oh, it did. It got his jersey. Watch under the left tricep. Just nicks the piping on the sleeve. It did. Watch. Watch it move right here.
You're correct. Second time Rendon's been hit by pitch this year. So Espinosa hitting from the left side against Matt Cain. Hitting .221 from the left side and .225 from the right side. And Danny with lots of pop this year as well. 18 home runs and 55 driven in. And nobody's been hit by more pitches than Danny Espinosa, 17. And Matt Cain will keep Rendon close at first base. We're at the bottom of the second and a scoreless ball game. Both ball clubs one base hit. Rendon has stolen 12 of 18 attempts. Fastball. And the count's 1-1.
You know, a lot of times you get a free base runner with 2 outs, meaning Rendon barely got hit by a pitch. He'll try to take advantage of steal early in the count, but based on Buster Posey's throw to get Trey Turner, maybe Dusty Baker thinking twice about a green light here.
Rendon with a nice lead off first. Cain with a check. A bouncing ball into right field for a base hit. Rendon will hold up at second. And Espinosa on with the National second hit of the game.
A nice piece of hitting right here. Stays on the changeup from Matt Cain and uses the hole created by Anthony Rendon in the hit by pitch. So Ben Revere has a chance to put his ball club up now with 2 outs.
And Revere's faced Matt Cain only 3 times. He's 0 for 3 in his career. And that's his numbers. 21 driven in, couple of home runs. With Roan at second. That pitch, a fastball at 91 in there for strike. And Espinosa down at first. And the pitch to Revere, swing and a miss.
Tell you what, Matt Cain's got good stuff tonight. And the reason why this is a 0-0 game is because of Ben Revere in center field. Top of the first inning, Buster Posey making a bid, and Ben Revere just kind of veering off, if you will, at the very end, making a running catch, stretching out to keep this a 0-0 game.
And Cain ahead in the count, 0-2 now to Ben Revere. Pitch outside. Revere battling those injuries, having to come back from that problems he had earlier this year. But since 2014, average way up there almost to 300. Bouncing ball to third. Nunez across, and the Nats are retired in the bottom of the second. We go to the top of the third at Nats Park. No score.
Ice cream novelties presented by Good Humor. Wednesday, August 10th. Indians are in town. Get your tickets today at nationals.com/tickets. The Turbo Rocket is always my favorite. No score, top of the third. Beautiful night for baseball here at Nats Park. Both pitchers on point so far in this one. And just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller time later in the ballgame. That's brought to you by Miller Lite.
And who else but Gregor Blanco, Matt Cain in the top of the order for the Giants. Denard Span, who to face Strasburg in the top of the third in the scoreless ball game. Nats with a nice 5-1 win last night. Rather quick ball game as well. Probably one of the quickest of the year.
Gio was awesome.
He was.
That was 2012 Gio Gonzalez. Just get it and going. Maybe the fastest pace I've ever seen him have. And that tells me he had confidence in all of his stuff. His changeup was off the charts.
And the result, the Nats have won 4 straight now.
And he almost went deep.
He sure did, didn't he?
Yeah.
We saw like 3 standing ovations last night, too, didn't we?
We did.
Melanson got one. I think Gio, when he came back to the dugout, got one.
Trey Turner hit one a little farther than Gio. That went in the stands.
Denard Span, first time up. And the fans rewarding him with memories they had of what he did for the ball club.
Yeah, that was a good night at the Yard for sure.
And Blanco hitting at 239. 1 round trip at 18 RBIs. He's in left field tonight for the Giants. Pitch in their first strike.
Nissan's going to track the front hip sinker from Steven Strasburg. You don't see this very much from Steven, but he tried to pound it in and it ran back for a strike. Maybe that's the Tanner Roark effect. That's his main pitch. We haven't seen that too often from Steven this year. The fastball in, coming back for strike 3. Tanner's digging that pitch for sure.
And that's his 4th strikeout of this game. And Matt Cain, despite being 2 for 21, one of those base hits was a home run. He's driven in 5 runs this year for the Giants. And the 1-0 from Strasburg to Matt Cain. Foul back on the screen. And quickly Steven ahead in the count. That's fouled back out of play as well.
The slider tonight from Strasburg is so subtle that the scoreboard here at Nats Park is calling it a fastball. And I think that's a good thing. Sometimes it acts like a cutter. Other times it has some tilt to it and acts like a slider. Tonight it's just barely moving at the end. But those are sliders that you see 90-91.
Yeah, that's a fastball, a changeup, and got him. And that's strikeout number 5. Back-to-back for Strasburg here in the 3rd inning.
It's time for Toyota Case for Kids. Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a $37 donation to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
Yeah, Denard Span up for the 2nd time. Strikeout victim in the 1st inning of Steven Strasburg. 104 hits for the former National, 33 RBIs. And the pop out behind the Giants dugout, out of play, way out of play. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. You saw a picture of Tanner Roark in the dugout charting the pitches tonight. He'll go tomorrow. And then you got a day off. And then Cleveland comes in for a quick 2, and you guys are gone again. Rockies for 3, Braves. The Braves will be here, then you're gone.
Don't be shortchanging my
9.
homestand.
Not that I want to get you out of town quickly, but yeah, day off. Then the Braves come in town. Then you go to Colorado and Atlanta, and up at Baltimore, Camden Yards for a couple of games against the Orioles. 39 pitches for Strauss tonight. He's got a 1-1 count on Span. And the count goes to 2-1. Nice play at second by Turner, and the Giants retired. 1-2-3 in the third. Still scoreless in Washington.
Nats Park, Saturday, August 13th. Celebrate the most popular movie series of all time. The fun-filled evening here at Nats Park. Braves in town, 7:05 start. For more information, visit nationals.com/Star Wars.
As we go to the bottom of the third, Nats have 2 base hits and the Giants have 1. Strasburg leads it off, then the top of the order with Trey Turner and Jason Worth. On a humid night here in Washington at the ballpark. And Kane delivers. Count even up at 1-1. 84 with a slider. 34 pitches for the Giants starter. And Strasburg gets a base hit. That's his 10th of the year. He's going to try to go for 2. And he's into second standing up. How about that?
Well, he had 3 hits his last start in Arizona to go along with the 3 hits he gave up to the Diamondbacks. This one starts up with a single that he decides right here, I'm going to make a double with a little hesitation move at first base. Might have caught Hunter Pence by surprise, but the whole ballpark went nuts as soon as Steven tried to go for 2. First double of the season for Steven Strasburg. Love it.
Yeah, catch my breath right when I'm down there at second base. Way to go, Steven. Turner beat out a base hit his first time up. And got thrown out at second on a great throw by Buster Posey.
So for a right-handed hitter, average time from home to first is 4.3. Above average, 4.2. Fly-in is 4.0. Trey Turner just ran a 3-4 to first on this ground ball to second. 3-4. That is absolutely getting it.
Yeah. Okay, to head in the count to Trey Turner, 0 ball, no balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out in the third. They got Strasburg down at second. And Trey's already got 12 driven in this year.
Mickey Mantle, left-handed, was supposed to be one of the fastest players ever.
Correct.
In his prime. He ran a 3.1 once to first, and they think it's the fastest time ever. Just to give you an idea about a 3.4 from the right side.
And that's Mantle from the left side, right?
Right.
Yeah. Here's the 1-2. And the count's at 2-2. Of those 40 pitches for Kane, 24 for strikes.
Let's say when Ichiro was a rookie in Seattle, he was about a 3.2, 3.3 from the left side.
Yeah.
But he was cheating. He was swinging and running.
Turner with a pop-up behind the plate. That's out of play. And Trey stays alive.
And I had played against Deion Sanders, and I played against Ichiro, and I thought Ichiro was faster than Deion.
Really?
And I think this guy right here is faster than both. Because he's to top speed quicker than anybody I've seen before. Those guys, once they got rolling, look out. But he's 0 to 60 in 2 steps.
And the count is full now to Turner. Matt Cain has yet to walk anybody. And he struck out 2. Worth and Harper back in the first. And that's his first base on balls tonight. So Strasburg with a double. Now Turner with a walk.
Let's go deep inside the numbers. Worth waiting. Check it out. Most career pitches per plate appearance. Active players. Jason Worth averaging 4.39. It's a minimum of 3,000 plate appearances. So legit numbers for Jason. Trying to extend that on base streak to 37 games.
And he's had good success against Matt Cain. He's now 5 for 9 in his career. And he's taken him deep one time. And Cain starts him off with a fastball missed outside. No score, bottom of the third. Strasburg leadoff doubled at second, and Trey Turner down at first after being issued the base on balls. That catches the outside corner for a strike. Well, Matt Cain, the last time he faced the Nats, as you mentioned, FP, went 5 innings, no hits. When he got that 100th win, 3-1. And then they pulled him after 5. Shot to third. Great play by Nunez. And they come up with a double play. Wow.
I don't know if Nunez caught that or that caught him. Pretty nasty hop right here, and watch Nunez just kind of put his glove up. Hasn't been playing third that long. Has been working with bench coach Ron Wotus real hard at trying to master that position. He's a shortstop by trade, and yeah, I think that ball caught him. But once he secured it, an easy 5-4-3 double play.
And on the double play, Strasburg gets down to third with Bob Hanley giving him instructions now. And Bryce Harper up for the second time, a strikeout in the first for Bryce. After a 1-for-3 night last night and driving in a run.
There was a time this season when Bryce would not be hitting right now. If you remember his first 19 games, he was 21 for 64, 328 average with 9 homers. In his 85 games since, he's 62 for 289, a 215 average, and 11 homers. And I don't know if we'll ever get to the bottom of it, but it's never been the same since Joe Madden walked him in Chicago in that series. Although there have been signs of life in the last 3 or 4 games.
Yes, there have.
The lower half is a lot more calm.
Bryce on base safely 7 straight games. Got 5 hits and 7 walks. And a .375 on base percentage, but trying to get back as consistent as he was last year to win that Most Valuable Player award.
Is he okay?
Yeah, Bryce kind of trying to shake something off. Well, he's going to step back in. Let's take a look and see.
He felt something. Maybe an oblique kind of thing. I don't think there was any lower half issues there. I didn't see a cleat catch. But you just never know if guys are banged up or not trying to play through something.
He's okay. Check with a trainer. Back he goes, and back to the box goes Bryce Harper. Goes Carlos Torres, the home plate umpire. I'm okay. Let's go. Yeah, the 2-2. And that's outside for ball 3. Murphy on deck, then Ramos and Rendon. That's with their biggest threat of this ball game thus far, with Strasburg down to third. And the count's full. And Kane strikes out Bryce for the second time tonight, and that's the inning. We go to the top of the fourth, scoreless between the Giants and Nats. As they always do here at Nationals Park. Our troop recognition brought to you by DynCorp International, proudly serving our nation for 70 years. You cannot thank the men and women of our armed forces enough for what they do for our country. It's great to see FP at all these games. The players applauding, the umpires applauding, the coaches, the dugouts, the fans, broadcasters, everybody.
It's a great tradition here at Nats Park.
It sure is. That's one of the best things this organization does. Hats off to the Lerner family and Mike Rizzo and everybody involved. Our PNC Minor League Insight. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank. And that's for the achiever in you. Brian Goodwin just brought up today from AAA Syracuse. Bats from the left side, throws from the right side. 526 games in the minor leagues. Career average of 254 on base, 344, and 166 extra base hits, and 232 RBIs.
You cannot beat up a veteran your first day in the big leagues.
He's doing his best, isn't he? Working on Gio.
Oh, the game has changed. You used to never even talk to veterans when you were a rookie. Now you're beating them up on the bench.
Well, he is excited about being here for the first time.
Well, I'll say.
Ryan Zimmerman on the DL, retroactive back to the 1st of August. After being nailed with the left wrist by the Giants closer Santiago Casilla, the 9th inning of the game out at AT&T Park against the Giants. And the tough times continue for Ryan. And we wish him well and hope he gets back with the club quicker than those 15 days. So it's the top of the fourth we go to now with Eduardo Nunez leading off. Then Brandon Belt and then Buster Posey. That's with 3 hits. The Giants only 1 off of Strasburg. A shot to center. Drifting back is off the wall. Revere plays it on the carom and heading for third. And the throw, there'll be no throw. The relay is bobbled out there and in safely at third with a heck of a shot off the wall. Eduardo Nunez. Well, he just missed a home run in this park.
Well, he started the night off for the Giants with their first hit, a hustle double. He's doing the whole curl thing at third base, saying weight room. And that might have been a slider cutter thing from Steven. And you see Ben Revere with this route. He broke the wrong way, and then he got too close to the fence, and it gets by him. So that double turns into a triple once the ball gets by the center fielder. And Eduardo Nunez came to play tonight.
Well, that he did, yeah. So he's at third with nobody out to lead off the Giants' 4th inning. And Brandon Belt steps in to face Strasburg for the 2nd time. Steven struck him out in the 1st. And that pitch, fastball at 95. This is 2 balls and no strikes.
As a center fielder, when you're going for a ball over your head, there comes a point when you say, A, am I going to make this catch, or B, am I not? And when you get to B and you say I'm not, it's incumbent on you to put on the brakes and create space between yourself and the wall so that you can play the carom. Right there, Ben Revere got so turned around, he kind of forgot where he was and got too close to the wall. And even though the ball didn't really come off hard, it got by him, and that allowed Nunez to get to third.
And the Giants' second baseman got both of San Francisco's hits off Strasburg tonight. A double and a triple. Steven, 48 pitches, 31 strikes. And he's got a 2-2 count to Brandon Belt. Hitting only 190 since the All-Star break. But a chance to drive in his 68th one of the year.
See, that's the part of Strasburg's game this year that he's taken to the next level for me, and that's expanding the strike zone. He has gotten so many chases with the fastball up and 2 strikes this year. Good take by Belt.
And the 3-2 pitch. And he strikes him out. Strikeout number 6 for Steven tonight.
Until you show me you can hit my fastball, I'm not really going to show you anything else. And Steven Strasburg struck out Brandon Belt on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. First time up right down the middle. And this time he goes with a little arm side run to get the swinging strike as well. So a big first out here in the 4th for the Nats in Strasburg.
And Steven struck out 6, same as he did against the Diamondbacks. And that 14-1 win his last start.
Dusty Baker has his infield back. Steven Strasburg pitching for the strikeout.
Posey hit that shot to center field that Revere made a great catch to end the 1st inning. And Strasburg in a count of 1-1 to the Giants catcher, hitting .287. 103 hits for Buster Posey. That comes inside with a fastball. And the count's 2-1.
So Buster Posey's a catcher. He saw the fastball in. Do you think he's thinking what he'd call right here? Maybe something on the other side of the plate and he's sitting on it?
Ramos with a sign. And a bouncing ball past Espinosa. It's short. And Posey's got the Giants on the board. Nunez scores from third, and it's 1-0 San Francisco.
Well, number one, he's a smart hitter. Number two, he's a catcher. So the fastball in, he's thinking, was for a reason, right? They're going to try to go to the other side of the plate. You see Ramos setting up away. The ball ran back with a lot of plate. But Posey was looking for the fastball away right there. He got one down the middle, and he hit it back up the middle to put the Giants up 1-0.
And Posey drives in his 51st run of the season. With a 1-out RBI here in the top of the 4th. Brandon Crawford popped to third his first time up to Rendon. One, 3 for the Giants, and no runs, 3 hits for the Nats. And Crawford hitting .264 now with Hunter Pence on deck. And the 2-0. That's popped out of play.
Sure, Brandon Crawford doesn't get cheated when he's ahead in the count. He lets it fly.
He's just one of a lot of Giants been struggling of late. Hitting only .191 the second half of the season.
How's Hunter's eye looking? Whoa.
Yeah, the mouse is expanding. Well, if he's lucky, he didn't get that thing right in the eye.
You're right.
And the 2-1 pitch, that's a base hit in the right field. So Posey and Crawford back-to-back hits. The Giants with runners at first and second with only 1 down. And Pence will come up for the second time, struck out in the second. And check out that right eye, just beneath that right eye, the right cheekbone.
Well, it's the big leagues. They have stakes everywhere in the clubhouse. I wonder if he had a stake on it between at-bats. It didn't swell up as much as I thought it would, but it still doesn't look good.
And that's going to be in play. And the Giants have got the bases loaded. A swinging dribbler down the third baseline.
Well, this is Giants baseball. That's what they do to you. They just wear you out with singles, tough at-bats. That's how they've won a few championships. And Hunter Pence with the swinging bunt, having a laugh with first base umpire Rob Drake. Maybe one hits you in the face and one's a single they're talking about. Almost the same identical swing. That one hit dirt instead of the plate.
So Pence at first, Crawford at second, and Posey at third.
Bill Hayes checking it out. They're all checking it out. I don't think it's a cut me mix situation, though.
You talk about a guy with a great personality.
Yeah, he's energy.
That's Hunter Pence. Well, the Giants have their third, fourth, and fifth hits of the game in this inning. And still just 1 down with the bases loaded now. And 1 run in. And Joe Panic will step in. He popped up to short his first time up.
Yeah, not real great with the bases loaded this year. But back in the windup now, maybe a little more comfortable there.
I would think so. And that pitch is outside to Panic. And he's ahead in the count 2-0. 5 for 20 with the bases loaded. Gregor Blanco's on deck for the Giants. And the 2-0 pitch. That's fouled out of play. Posey, Crawford, and Hunter Pence on the base paths now for San Francisco. And already Nunez has scored after that triple.
Well, now you got to come to him. Went 2-1 changeup, fish ain't biting, bases loaded, 3-1 count. Joe Panik all in on a fastball. Steven Strasburg almost has to throw him a heater right here.
Yeah, and here comes the 3-1 Strasburg to Joe Panik. And he lost him, and it's 2-0 San Francisco. So Panik with a walk. And that's the first given up by Steven tonight.
It's good at bat by Joe Panik. He didn't try to be the hero right there. Never got a pitch he liked and ended up drawing a walk and putting his ball club up by 2.
So Buster Posey scores. Crawford down the third. Hunter pinched to second. And Panik now at first.
But right now it's about damage control for Steven, and he knows that his offense is clicking. And he knows that 2 runs probably isn't going to win this ball game. And if he can keep it right there, he knows he has a chance to win.
And a swing at a fastball, foul back out of play. Giants 4 hits in this inning and 2 runs.
I mean, it's all he has to do is look at some of his games this year. Last game 14-1. July 3rd at Cincinnati 12-1. May 29th against St. Louis 10-2. Against Kansas City 13-2. So his ball club scored him plenty of runs.
Yes.
That was a good pitch.
Count to Blanco, 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, right there. Steven on a humid night in Washington, 67 pitches. And trying to limit the damage now, most of them fastballs, 64%. The check swing. And their first strike, 2-2. Matt Cain is on deck.
Haven't seen the wipeout curve from Strasburg tonight or the wipeout changeup. The slider and fastball combination have been nice. But the second, or the curve I should say, in the change, you really haven't seen. The secondary pitch has been the slider.
Well, let's see what Steven throws him on a 2-2 count. Bouncing ball fouled on the first baseline.
I mean, against a lefty, a 2-2 count for Strasburg is usually a changeup, but he went to the slider right there with the bases loaded because that's the pitch he has the best feel for.
Blanco 4 for 29, his last 15 games. And the 2-2. Struck him out. Big strikeout for Strasburg.
Oh, huge. You know, you're facing 8 to get to Matt Cain. This is the at-bat with all your chips in the middle of the table, and Steven Strasburg goes with the pitch that's been working the best for him tonight, the fastball.
Yeah, that's strikeout number 7 for Strasburg in this game. Yeah, Matt Cain with a check swing. Couldn't hold up, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Cain struck out in the third his first time. Facing his mound opponent. 2 runs in for the Giants. And the bases remain loaded. And the count's even at 1-1. And the 1-1 in there for strike, a fastball to the outside corner at 96.
So 32 pitches this inning for Steven Strasburg. This will be number 33. You can circle all of those as high stress pitches. He's really had to step on it here against the Giants in the 4th.
And a swing and a miss, and he gets Kane, and he strikes out 3 in the inning, but the Giants get 2. The 4th inning of Nationals baseball brought to you by the RAV4 Hybrid. All-wheel drive and unexpected performance. Visit buyatoyota.com and do it today. We go to the bottom of the 4th, 2-0 Giants.
Race triathlon, the Olympic theme. So that's the swimming portion of the race. Calvin subbing for Herbie today because Herbie's in Iowa for the Herbert Hoover Day. So there's your cycling on your bike share. Watch in the background. Oh God, bike against the fence, and I think he hit his esophagus on the fence. It looked like he was reaching for it. Man down, president down. Is he okay?
I think he walked off under his own power. I think. Yeah. Not sure.
Usually the swimming part of the triathlon's the toughest. That's when you get kicked in the face by the swimmers. But the bike part, hope he's okay.
2-5-0 for the Giants. No runs, 3 hits for the Nationals. We go to the bottom of the 4th with Daniel Murphy leading things off. He bounced out to second his first time up. Yeah, Matt Cain's got himself a 2-run lead. It starts off Murphy with the changeup. Ramos will be second, then Anthony Rendon will hit third in this inning. And then Murphy takes the pitch outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Yandel hitting safely 17 of 19 games. 27 for 67. It's about a 420 clip. Bouncing ball down to first to Belt. He'll take it unassisted for the out. And there's 1 up, 1 down in the 4th.
Hey, Nats fans, if you're not able to join us at the Yard this week, be sure to catch all the action at Maddie's Bar and Grill. That's 1726 Connecticut Avenue, Northwest D.C. That's presented by Red's Apple Ale, crisp like an apple, brewed like a beer. Be afraid to invite us over.
I stopped in one night. Great place.
I'll go over there.
Yeah.
Let's go after.
Everybody asked it about you. I said you were tied up with other commitments. But one of these nights.
Let's go, Johnny.
Let's go. Get in your bicycle and ride over there.
Pretty healthy swing right there by Wilson.
And ahead in the count is Matt Cain to Ramos. He bounced out to short. And to Crawford his first time up. Giants with a 2-0 lead. Since the All-Star break, San Francisco's won only 5 games, losing 14. The Nats, on the other hand, 11-8 since the break. And the Giants trying to stay ahead of the Dodgers on their heels in that West. They've dropped 7 of their last 11 games. Yeah, tonight they got a 2-0 lead.
Sunset here tonight. It's just
Isn't that
unbelievable.
And the 1-1 pitch way outside. So Turner with a base hit in the first inning. Espinosa with a hit in the second. And Strasburg's double in the third. That's the Nats' hits tonight. And here's the 2-1 delivery. Ramos with a line drive to center field. That's in there for a base hit.
Such a dangerous hitter. You saw the first swing. He fouled a fastball straight back. That bought him a pair of sliders that he took to get to the count right there. And then watch him just sit on this pitch. A curveball from Matt Cain that he lets get deep. I mean, hit like a fastball. Perfect swing again by Wilson Ramos. Right back up the middle, and the hits keep coming for the Buffalo.
And Wilson a 1-for-2 night tonight. That'll bring up Anthony Rendon for the second time. Hit by pitch in the second inning. And Anthony's had some darn good numbers this year. Second in runs scored in this ball club in doubles. Second. Walks with second. Hits his third, and stolen bases tied for second. Yeah, and Matt Cain with a checker. Ramos at first. And the 0-1 pitch.
I mean, don't even check. He never goes. Never seen a guy hold up his swing like Anthony Rendon does.
And the 1-1. Missed with a fastball. Count goes to 2-1. Matt Cain with 62 pitches thrown here through the fourth inning. A couple of years ago in 2014, Rendon had a super year. And he'll take that for a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So Matt Cain's a guy you wear down. In the first to the fourth inning, he has a 3.83 ERA and a 2.43 average against. From the fifth inning on, he has a 10.31 ERA and a 4.22 average against. So it seems like you wear him down, and that's how you get to him. After the fourth inning, Nat's trying to do it in the fourth.
They got Ramos at first, and the count goes to Rendon, full at 3-2. One away, and the Giants with a 2-0 lead.
Nissan showing you the sequence.
Yeah, the count's full. Rendon gets the base on ball. So Anthony on base both times he's faced Matt Cain. Hit by a pitch and gets a walk. Ramos down to second. And that'll bring up Danny Espinosa with a base hit in the second inning.
That kind of backs up what we were telling you about after the fourth inning. You see the averages going up second, third time around.
Good point. Good point. Ben Revere on deck. And Cain starts off Espinosa with a fastball. Might have crossed up Posey. And will come Crawford from short to talk it over as well. Now, how do you pitch to Espinosa? Runners at first and second and 1 down. And Kane with a checker, Ramos. And hits him again. My goodness. Espinosa been hit by more pitches than anybody in this ball club. And the bases are loaded.
Kind of leans into this one. If you're going to go up and into Danny, the upper half, he's going to stay in there and wear it. And he did right there. And now the stage set for Ben Revere again. Last time he came up, he had runners on first and second. This time he's got the bases loaded, one out. Dave Righetti out to talk to Matt Cain.
Espinosa hit by a pitch for the 18th time. Well, the Nationals threatened in the last inning with Strasburg's leadoff double and couldn't get a run in. Now they got the bases loaded and one down. Ben sets the table for Ben Revere. First time up. Grounded to third. And Ben hitting .212 with 21 RBIs. He'll take a fast slider for strike. So the Nationals a little something going here in the fourth. And Kane misses high and wide outside.
I'll tell you what, Denard Span is playing so shallow in center, and he's playing left center. Hunter Pence is playing straight up and right. The gap in right center is wide open for Ben Revere. Look at that.
And a bouncer down the first baseline. They're going to try to get the runner at home, and they do. They force Ramos at home. And there's two down. Nice heads-up play by Brandon Belt. Thought he could get and check who was running. It was Ramos, and they figured they could get him, and they got him.
Well, that's where the momentum took him on the play. Just a tapper off the plate for Ben Revere. And Ben forgot to touch first. He kind of peels off to get out of the way of the play, and then he goes, oh, geez, I better get to first. Watch this. He's watching the play, and then where's first? Oh, there it is. So now slugger Steven Strasburg trying to get another hit.
And a chance to drive in a couple if he can get a good pitch to hit. No balls and one strike to Steven. Now with two away. And the base is still loaded. And the curveball. Inside for ball one.
Yeah, Matt Cain not messing around with that fastball to Strasburg yet. He went first pitch slider, second pitch curveball. Steven 4 for his last 5, I believe.
And on the year, 10 for 46 at the plate with a double in this game. And Matt Cain set with a 1-1. Bouncing ball to short. Crawford on the first. And Cain gets out serious hot water. So we go to the top of the fifth at Nats Park. 2-0 San Francisco. presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. As we go to the top of the fifth at Nationals Park, it's a 2-0 San Francisco lead. You can follow the Nats baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, live game video highlights, and StatCast. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball in your phone and tablet.
Let's go deep inside the numbers. And the three right-handers, the big three, if you will. Combined .285 ERA, .208 opponent average. And the most combined wins for any three starters in the big leagues. 15, 12, and 11.
So the top of the Giants order against Strasburg here in the fifth. Denard Span, Eduardo Nunez, and then Brandon Belt. Denard 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out and grounded out the second. And Stevens starts him off with a fastball in there for a strike. Denard gave the Nats some good years, didn't he, FP? Good guy.
He did.
Came to the Nats from the Twins, bouncing ball on to Strasburg. Nice play by Murphy, and Denard retired to start the fifth inning. So with the one down, Eduardo Nunez, the Giants' second baseman, up for the third time. Got a double and got a triple. Perfect night, 2 for 2.
You know, I think of Denard's career here as a Giant, or as a Nat. Now he's with the Giants. The one thing that stands out to me more than anything is his routes and the precise routes he ran in center field and the plays he made. I mean, obviously there was a lot of moments. The 30-game hitting streak, you know, his 2014 season with a career high in stolen bases. But the way he played center field and the pride he took in never taking a pitch off in center field and always being ready for the baseball, and the routes he took. And maybe it's because we're so high up here in the booth and you got to see it so well from our vantage point, but I had never seen a center fielder take such good routes to balls in my whole career being around baseball. And I think maybe he's a step or so slower now with all the injuries he's had over the years. But I'm talking about 2013, 2014, when he was in his prime, the way he ran down balls in this ballpark. And Nats fans know exactly what I'm talking about. It was something to behold on a nightly basis. As clean as any center fielder I've ever seen.
And FP, after the game last night, a lot of Nats fans came out. They were wearing Denard Span's T-shirts, and they were waiting for him down by the Giants clubhouse last night.
Favorite, he was. Hashtag Spanny.
And even though he may have lost a step or two, well, the guy can still play. Count is full to Nunez. 3 balls, 2 strikes. With one away here in the fifth inning for the Giants, they got a 2-0 lead. Both runs coming at the top of the fourth. Strasburg, pitch number 82 coming up. And that's fouled back on the screen, out of play. Last 6 starts for Steven, 5-1 with 43 strikeouts. Then you add 7 more tonight. He has at least 1 strikeout every inning. And a swing and a pop down the right side. It's out of play.
Nunez kicking dirt, talking to himself down there. He's frustrated. He missed that pitch, and he's seeing Steven big tonight. A double and a triple.
So the count to Nunez full at 3-2. In the gap to right center. And Nunez a perfect 3-for-3 night. He'll turn second. He's not going to let up. He's heading for third. There's the throw, and he is safe at third. Ball got away from Rendon and backed up nicely by Strasburg. So a double and 2 triples tonight for Eduardo Nunez.
I'll tell you what, he set the tone for his ball club in the top of the first inning with the hustle double. And then a battle here, fighting off some tough pitches. Finally gets one he could handle. You saw the frustration after the foul ball. He almost got the same pitch. And look at the hustle by Nunez. 27 stolen bases in the American League this year, so he can fly his second triple tonight. 3 for 3 off Steven Strasburg.
And he came to the ball club July 28th in a deal with the Twins. We got a minor leaguer in return. A high fly ball. Worth with a full head of steam. Can't get to it. And Nunez will score from third. Into second, Brandon Belt. And the Giants have a 3-0 lead. Well, the Giants were their 7th hit of the night.
Well, just in no man's land right here. And Strasburg's thrown the fastball by Brandon Belt tonight, but he gets a piece of one here. And because the infield was in, Espinosa not able to get back over there. Jason Worth with a long way to go. And I don't think Steven Strasburg was real happy about this ball falling.
Well, Jason had a long way to come to try to get that ball.
And so did Espinosa. It's short with his toes on the grass and the infield in. He couldn't have thrown it out there any better.
So Buster Posey up for the 3rd time. Giants 3, the Nationals nothing. And Posey 1 for 2 tonight. .370 for San Francisco. No runs, 4 hits for the Nets. And Belt with the lead off second base. And the pitch to Posey. That's a line drive into left field. Belt will hold up at third. Quickly Harper in with the throw. And the Giants' 8th hit put runners on the corners now with still only 1 out.
So I said circle all those pitches last inning because the leadoff triple in the 4th by Nunez. Now you're pitching with a lot of high stress. You're going to your ace stuff. It's a warm night here at Nats Park. And he got out of that jam with just giving up 2 runs, but there was a lot of energy spent, both physical and mental, in that inning. And so you fast forward to this inning, a triple, a double, and a single. I think Steven gave it everything he had to get out of that jam in the 4th. And I don't know how much he has left here in the 5th.
It's only the 3rd time this year a ball club has had 8 hits against Strasburg. Cardinals did it back in April 29th. Actually, only the 2nd time. The Cardinals had 6 the 2nd time they faced him. Well, he's given up 8 hits now, and Trinan starts to work quickly in the Nationals bullpen.
If that throw over came from the bench with Buster Posey on first, that's just to buy time for Blake Trinan to get ready.
Well, Buster's probably not going to steal a lot of, although he has 6 stolen bases.
It's another one to get Blake Trinan ready.
Belt at third, Posey on first after the base hit. And his 2nd consecutive off Strasburg. And Brandon Crawford with a 1 for 2 night with a count. High fly ball to center field. That one going and going and going, and Ramirez got it on the track with a score. The Giants' 4th run of the game from third. Belt scores, and it's 4-0 San Francisco.
A pretty good at-bat by Brandon Belt and just missed it. Plenty deep enough. Or Brandon Crawford, excuse me, plenty deep enough to score Brandon Belt.
Crawford drives in his 68th run of the year. Mike Maddox in the phone. Out to the bullpen. And Ramos with a visit to Strasburg. With 2 out here in the 5th inning. And 2 runs in.
He's just gassed. He's gassed after the 4th.
And that's going to be it for Strasburg as Dusty Baker makes the long trip to the mound. And the Giants have a lead of 4-0. And a nice hand for Strasburg and a hot, humid night in Washington. Back in a moment. It'll be a 1:30 start. Our friends at WUSA 9 will join us as the Nats and Giants wrap up this series. Monday and off day, and Cleveland comes to town for 2 quick ball games on Tuesday night at 7 and 4 o'clock on Wednesday. Then an off day again on Thursday, and the Braves for a weekend series, and that's extra before and after every game. And Steven Strasburg's night is done, and Blake Trinan comes in from the Nationals bullpen, making his 49th appearance.
A 2-seam fastball, low to mid-90s, slider to go with it. Blake's job to keep this a 4-0 game.
And he will face Hunter Pence, and in panic with 2 down. And in the top of the 5th inning. Strasburg gives up 4 runs, the 8 hits, goes 4 2/3, struck out 8. 88 and 56. Maybe one of his shortest outings of the year, FP.
It was his shortest outing of the year.
The previous shortest stint was only 5 1/3 against Cincinnati. And the Giants trying to hand him his 2nd loss of the season. Only the Dodgers have beaten him. And the pitch to Hunter Pence in there for a strike.
You're watching more hitters face Blake Trinan, and they're being patient. Guys that usually hack even are being patient, and I think word's spreading that his sinker's nasty, but he has trouble throwing it in the zone or keeping it in the zone.
Yeah, pitch fouls that one.
You'll see scouting reports that say things like fastball looks like a strike, doesn't end up a strike, or changeup looks like a strike, but it's rarely thrown for a strike, or the opposite. But the scouting report, if you read it, it'll tell you a lot about a pitcher, and I'm sure it says about Blake that he has a nasty sinker, but has trouble keeping it in the zone at times.
Last 30 appearances, 0.66 earned run average. And that'll do it for the Giants, but not before they tack on a couple of more runs here. How to do coming up to lead off the Nationals half of the 5th inning. Trey Turner looking for his second base hit of the night off Matt Cain.
Trey Turner has improved of late in one area that he calls his pet peeve. That pet peeve is strikeouts. His first 9 games after his most recent promotion, 15 strikeouts to go along with a .225 average and a .262 on base. But his last 9, only 5 strikeouts, and you see the difference there in the average and the on base percentage. Obviously, with any player, the less you strike out, the better chance you have to reach base. But Turner especially knows that with his speed, if he puts the ball in play, he's got a decent chance to beat something out. He showed that in his first at-bat tonight, beating out that simple ground ball to second base. So Trey putting the ball in play more and getting rewarded more.
Dan, thank you very much. Matt Cain, his last 2 starts against Cincinnati and the Nationals. He went 5 1/3 against the Reds. He won that one. And he went 5 against the Nationals. He won that one as well. We're working now on a 4-hit shutout with Turner and Worth and Harper to face him in the Nats half of the 5th inning. And a shot. Great catch at shortstop by Brandon Crawford.
That was impressive.
That was.
And it's looking like a single for Trey Turner, but you see the inside-out action on the ball. It had a little cut to it, so Brandon Crawford had to make the adjustment in the air to go back the other way as the ball was slicing back towards center field.
So 1 pitch and retired is Trey Turner. And a great catch by Crawford at short. Jason Worth struck out his first time up, then grounded into a double play in the 3rd inning. Worth hitting .253 on the year. He's got 13 home runs and 46 RBIs. Nats trying to get something going. Have a couple of opportunities tonight, but runners in scoring position have not been able to get anything across. And the pitch to Worth, swing and a miss. And the count quickly runs to 2-1.
Nissan tracking the fastball from Matt Cain on the outer half to a pull swing by Jason Worth. He was trying to do some damage.
Matt Cain's resume includes so many games missed with a right hamstring this year. He's missed 43 games. Last year, 94 games. On the DL 8 times the last 4 seasons. And he strikes out Worth. Beg your pardon. Make it strike 2. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Top of the zone.
Yeah, the count's full now. Yeah, Jason gets a base on balls.
And that's the longest on-base streak in the major leagues this year. Jason Worth, congratulations. 37 games on base.
That's an amazing accomplishment. He had been tied with the Marlins' Marcell Ozuna at 36.
So 47 more to catch Ted Williams at 84. I'm thinking he's got a chance.
He does. And Harper has faced Kane twice tonight, and both times he struck out against him. Left-handers off of Matt Kane this year, hitting .341. And the longest he's gone of any game this year, he went 8 against Toronto back in May, but he lost that game 4-0. And the pitch to Bryce fouled out of play.
I'm telling you, when you get your pitch and foul it off, it's the most frustrating thing in the world. And I mean, it'll drive you nuts. You see guys throw their helmets and bats after they strike out or pop up, but when you foul off a pitch, you're in the middle of your at bat, you want to throw your helmet and you want to throw your bat when you get your pitch and miss it.
But Bryce continues to battle and battle, and he stays alive, counted 1-2. And Strickland loosening up in the Giants bullpen. And Bryce set for the 1-2. And the count is 2-2. Johnny Holiday with FP Santangelo. Bob will be back with you in a few days. Happy to be along working with FP, and we've got a 4-0 ball game. Giants with 8 hits off Steven Strasburg, and the Nationals only 4 so far off of Matt Kane. Woodworth with a walk. He's down at first, and Harper stays alive. Count at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Boy, he got a fastball 92 inner half. This is one that we've seen Bryce destroy before, but back to my foul ball point. Just underneath it. Pretty good swing, but like I've been saying, close. It's one he usually handles.
And a check of Worth, and Bryce strikes out. For the 3rd time of this game, and there's 2 away.
But just the balance. Watch the balance after the swing. His hips and his shoulder going toward his own dugout. He's not going to reach anything away. Look at spinning out of there. Tries to extend his arms and hit it to left.
Matt Cain's only struck out 3 Nationals. 3 times it's been Bryce Harper. Now with Worth at first, and there's 2 down. That'll bring up Daniel Murphy, looking for his first base hit tonight. Grounded out to second, grounded out to first. But Daniel still hitting at that .355 clip. 139 base hits, 21 homers, and 81 RBIs. And Daniel playing first tonight for the Nats. And the 1 ball, no strike count to Murphy. And a bouncing ball to second. Panic on the belt, and the Nationals go quietly in the 5th. To the top of the 6th they go with a 4-0 Giants lead.
Time for our Cox game summary brought to you by Cox's new Contour. Get right to the good stuff. 4-0 Giants as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Matt Cain has been real good here. Steven Strasburg pitched out of a jam in the 4th, took its toll. They got to him in the 5th as well. And Blake Trinan trying to keep us a 4-0 game, and hopefully his offense figures out Matt Cain.
And Cain due to bat 3rd here in the 5th or 6th inning for the Giants. Joe Panic leads it off, and then we'll see Gregor Blanco, then Matt Cain. And Strickland had been up in the Giants bullpen. Now there's no activity out there. Swinging a high fly to right, and Harper drifting back and back on the warning track and makes the catch.
Well, there's two sides of the game, lumber and leather, and Ian Desmond was talking about his old friend Bryce Harper this week, saying he adds a lot to the ball club even if he's not hitting with his defense, his walks. But watch Bryce in the athletic play making the correction once he got turned around. Broke to the wrong side, figured it out. Blake Trinan appreciating the very athletic play by Bryce Harper. Nicely done.
Nicely done is right. But the Giants have one out here in the top of the 6th. That'll bring up Gregor Blanco. And Blanco striking out twice against Strasburg this evening. His numbers at .236 with a home run. And he's driven at 18 runs. The sinker at 96 misses. Struck out in the 3rd, struck out in the 4th. Pats have left 7 on the bases tonight. And only 4 base hits. The count to Gregor Blanco, 1 ball and a strike. With the 1 away. This is outside, and it's 2-1. Blanco able to play all 3 outfield positions. 51 starts, or 16 starts in left. A total of 51 starts for the Giants. That's foul down the left side. 11 in center, 24 in right. And here's the numbers tonight for San Francisco. Biggest damage done by Eduardo Nunez. 2 triples, a double, and a couple of runs. Bell with an RBI double. Posey with an RBI. And a sac fly for Brandon Crawford, and it's 4-0. And a check swing, but went through with it. And Blanco strikes out for a 3rd time in this game. Don't forget, Nats Plus members and season plan holders, the Nationals postseason and renewal process has begun. It's underway. The deadline to get your postseason strips is August 31st. Plus, if you renew for 2017 by that same date, you get yourself an extra postseason ticket offer. Log into your Nationals Access account, contact your account representative, or email ticket information at nationals.com and do it today. That's for next year. A lot of baseball to be played this year, though.
It's strange, though, whenever I'm around town talking to friends or just people in different establishments, the first thing people say to me is, what's wrong with so-and-so? How come so-and-so is not doing? You're 21 games over 500. You're 7 games in first place, and everybody wants to talk about what's wrong with somebody. And I'm starting to wonder if that's just the mindset of a fan.
Of today's fans?
Yeah, it's my friends. So I'm talking about people that I'm close with. And it's not about, hey, this team's 21 over. There's 7 games in first place. That's one of the biggest leads in baseball. It's always about what's wrong with somebody. And quite frankly, it's getting old. I mean, this is a first-place club. Yeah. Dusty Baker's done a nice job. He's got them set to play deep into October. This is by far the best team since I've been here, with speed, average, power, bullpen, starting pitching. And it just seems like everybody wants to talk about what's wrong with somebody.
And it's a ball club with the 2nd-best record in all of baseball. Only the Cubs are better at 67 and 41.
And I'm starting to get short with people. I am. Like, okay, do you want to talk about, you know, Trey Turner, something really good that's going on? They're 21 over.
Yeah.
But it's really getting old.
I'm with you.
It is. I mean, if you're not happy with a team 21 games over and 7 games in first, you're never going to be happy watching baseball. Pick another sport.
Kane strikes out, and the Giants are retired in the 6th inning. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Nats need some hits and need some runs. Nationals baseball on Masson is brought to you by University of Maryland University College. By Night Point Systems, they offer the technology you need when you need it. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. On a Saturday night in Washington, Terrific crowd on hand tonight, just kind of sitting back waiting for something to happen. From the Nationals' point of view, they're 0-4-0 tonight, 4-8-0 for the Giants. As Wilson Ramos tries to get things going here in the Nats' sixth, then Anthony Rendon and Danny Espinosa. And Matt Cain has done the job tonight. 5 innings, the 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 4. And he's worked his way in to the 6th inning. Ramos tonight 1 for 2.
Well, he's just taking some really, really good swings. I mean, all season long, but he's feeling frisky right now.
You know, if I could get back to what you just said, FP, about
sure,
a lot of fans just kind of like to ask why this, why that, why don't they do this, why don't they do that. It's fouled out of play. And when you look at where this ball club has been over the years and what Dusty has done with this ball club this year, and with the pitching staff he's got, and you got a guy who's, you know, maybe going to win the batting crown or most valuable player award this year in Daniel Murphy, and you got an all-star pitcher in Strasburg. Yeah, why all the questions?
Well, you love the enthusiasm, you love the passion. That's what I tell my friends. I'm like, I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you're this into it. That's awesome. But here's some good things to talk about.
Yeah. And Ramos works the count to 2-2. There's Max Scherzer and Gio Gonzalez. Tanner Roark goes tomorrow for the Nats to wrap up this series against the Giants. And a base hit for Wilson Ramos. And the Nats catcher's got a 2-for-3 night.
We can hit. Buffalo roaming with 2 hits again tonight, and the fastball runs right back down the middle. So that's big league hitting. Last time he hit a curveball. This time he sits on the fastball. He knew Cade wouldn't throw it again. And that's going to do it for Matt Cain. Here comes Bruce Bochy. He's gotten enough out of his right-hander. And he is talking to home plate umpire Carlos Torres right now. And he's going to go have a talk with him. Look at this. He's walking right toward him.
Yep. Johnny Holiday, FP Santangelo, 4-0 ball game. And we take a look at the Nats box tonight. Only 4 base hits. Strasburg with a double. 1 for 1 night for Danny Espinosa, hit by a pitch. And a 2 for 3 night for Ramos. He's down at first base, and a single for Trey Turner. And we got a new pitcher coming in for the Giants from the bullpen. That's Strickland. .6'4", 235-pound right-hander, 27 years of age. And he will face Anthony Rendon. And Hunter Strickland, 17 of his last 21 appearances, 19 innings, only given up 4 runs on 13 hits.
A pretty good fastball, averages 96. Slider change to go with it.
Last save for Strickland came June 23rd. And New York took the loss against Arizona. Last time he won a ball game at Tampa Bay in June. And the opponents with RBIs have 8 off him with runners in scoring position. And he inherits Ramos at first.
Well, they've had a chance to jump back in this. They had a chance in the second with a couple of guys on. They had a chance in the fourth with a couple guys on. So the bottom of the order tonight, at least 5, 6, 7, been getting it done.
So the Nats have accomplished what they wanted to do to get Kane out of there, because the Giants bullpen has not been that effective all year.
Mercedes on the pitch track. This is outside.
Strickland 42 2/3 innings of work.
That's the difference.
Run average of 2.74
between a 3-1 count or a 2-2 count. It's a big pitch.
And high fly to right field. Pence has got a beat on that one. And Rendon's retired, and Ramos retreats back to first. That'll bring up Danny Espinosa for the 3rd time. A base hit and hit by a pitch. Strickland 42 strikeouts and 13 walks out of the Giants bullpen. Ramos with the lead, and Strickland starts Espinosa off with a curveball at 84. Nationals just need some base runners now. The Giants trying to even up this series. Nats have won 3 of the 5 meetings between the two clubs. And the 1-0 pitch. Fouled at the plate. Ben Revere on deck after Espinosa. And then most likely a pinch hitter for Blake Trinan. And a swing and a miss. And Clint Robinson looks like he may get the call.
Well, as a pinch hitter, you have to be ready. Chris Heisey had a bat. Clint had a bat. You never know who the manager is going to turn around and point at. So about 4th inning on, you're getting loose down the clubhouse in the cage. Just in case your number's called, you have to be ready. And as a bench guy, you manage along with the skipper. You get used to his tendencies. You know who he's going to use in what situation. So you almost know beforehand who he's going to lean to. But you get the first 3 innings to kind of goof around, joke with your buddies, check out the fans in the stands, and then once the 4th rolls around, you start getting loose.
And you see Heisey off to the left of Robinson in the dugout. Bouncing ball right back to Strickland, to second for 1 on to first, and he beats it out. So they get the lead runner Ramos down at second. Go to stop by any Cox Solution store right now throughout Virginia. You get your free FP. There goes the no-hitter t-shirt. Visit Cox.com for your nearest store. You don't have to be a Cox customer. T-shirts are available while supplies last. And there's that t-shirt you're going to get. I will trade you one of my books for one of your t-shirts.
I signed my 5-head on there for some fans last night. There's plenty of room.
It only cost you $5 to get my book. That's nice. You better get by your Cox store quickly before they're all gone. And Ben Revere up now with 2 outs. And Espinosa at first. And this crowd, which is a good crowd, got to be in the 30s, I guess, again tonight, like we had last night, just kind of sitting back, waiting for something to happen. With a 1-1 pitch coming up. Yeah, that's inside. 2 balls and a strike to Ben Revere. With Clint Robinson waiting on deck. Bouncing ball to second. Joe Paddock on to Brandon Belt, and the Nats are retired in the 6th inning. We go to the top of the 7th. 4-0 Giants.
Earlier in the ball game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Eduardo Nunez gets the game ball for this one so far. He set the tone in the first. A hustle double. And then he goes deep off the center field wall right here. Maybe thought he had a home run, just missed it by a foot, but still hustling nonetheless. He gets a triple out of it. Didn't watch it, was playing hard, and then his second triple in the 5th inning. So a triple in the 4th, a triple in the 5th, 3 for 3. Eduardo Nunez firing up his ball club, playing hard here tonight.
And Bryce Harper's going to have the rest of the night off, and Brian Goodwin just called up from AAA Syracuse, making his major league debut tonight. Played 109 games with AAA Syracuse, hitting .284. He had 25 doubles, a triple, 11 homers, and drove in 62 runs, had 40 walks, 14 stolen bases, and 35 runs scored. He's in right.
Yeah, we saw a little something from Bryce. Paul Lassard, the Nats trainer, came out to look at him after a pitch. So it's something definitely to keep an eye on after this one.
Blake Trinan facing Denard Span, and Span 0 for 3 night with a strikeout, a ground out to second, and a ground out to first. Nunez, who's done most of the damage tonight for San Francisco, on deck trying to continue his perfect night at the plate, 3 for 3. He's 4 for 6 in this series now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to assume that in a 4-run game with Bryce Harper due at 4th in the bottom of the 7th, that there's something going on if he's not in.
And the 1-2 pitch to Span down to third. Rendon with a quick throw across to first, and he gets the speedy Span.
I'll tell you what, he makes some plays that you just have to say wow, and this is one of them. If you've ever played third base before, the chopper going to your right away from the plate takes tremendous arm strength, and look at Rendon going into the Giants dugout, throwing back across his body, and not just flinging it over there softly. He got something on this. Look how much is on this ball, and it hits Daniel Murphy almost right in the face. Speedy runner, left-handed hitter. Nice play, Anthony Rendon.
And he gets Span by a step at first. That'll bring up Nunez again, a double and 2 triples in the game. And Jonathan Papelbon and Oliver Perez in the bullpen for the Nationals, and a base hit to right for Nunez. Continues his hot hitting, a perfect 4 for 4 night.
Might, and I'm going to say might, ease some of the pain that Matt Duffy fans are having in San Francisco. 4 for 4 night from Eduardo Nunez.
Boy, nice pickup for them, huh? Good pickup. Brandon Belt and Buster Posey here in the top half of the 7th for San Francisco. Those 2 runs in the 4th, 2 runs in the 5th, all they've needed so far with a 4-0 lead. And the pitch. Line drive to left field for a base hit. Indians will turn second, heading for third. He'll get there safely. And the throw to second, not in time. And Belt in with a double, and the Giants have got runners at second and third with 1 away.
Not a bad pitch by Blake Trinan. Just threw it right into Brandon Belt's strength. He likes the ball down the way, flipped it into left. Aggressive running by Nunez. Giants in business here in the 7th once again.
And Belt's got his 28th double of the year. And with 2 on, you got Buster Posey coming up for a 4th time with a couple of singles in this ballgame and an RBI. Giants with their 10th hit of the ballgame. And Posey, a shot to right. Goodwin drifting over toward the line, and he comes up with a catch. And tagging up and scoring from third, Nunez, and the Giants have a 5-0 lead.
That's big league hitting right here by Buster Posey. And how about the first chance for Brian Goodwin in right field? Going back to the track in the corner. His first game as a Nat, his first chance, a tough one. So nice play by the young right fielder and a good at-bat by Buster Posey to make it 5-0.
Posey, a couple of RBIs tonight, number 51 and 52. They've given the Giants a 5-0 lead. And we're in the top half of the 7th inning. With Crawford, then Pence. And Joe Panic if needed against Blake Trinan. If you're just joining us, Strasburg tonight went 4 2/3, his shortest outing of the year. Gave up the 4 runs, the 8 hits to the Giants. And struck out 8. With 88 pitches in those 4 2/3. They're going to put Crawford on. And Hunter Pence with his 3rd time up.
Mike Maddox going to go out there and talk to Blake Trinan, go over a game plan for Hunter Pence.
And that's the first walk that Trinan's issued tonight. Along with a big strikeout of Pence in the 5th.
The game plan's simple. Sinkers in, sliders away. If you can execute it or not, it's a different story. If you get him aware of the fastball in and then go with that slider to the other side, you'll get that swing you saw earlier in the game on the Steven Strasburg slider. So we'll see if they start with the slider away or the fastball in.
96 in tight. Then struck out in the 2nd, got a base hit in the 4th, and struck out again in the 5th. And the Giants runners at the corners with a 5-0 lead and a swing and a miss and a slider from Trinan.
Well, there you go. Fastball in, you make them aware of the heater in, then you go slider away and you get that backside in your own dugout swing. Can't blame him though. He saw a hard fastball, then a nasty slider on the Nissan pitch track.
And Trinan with a 1-1 to Hunter Pence. And the count quickly goes to 1-2. As we look ahead to the Nationals 7th, most likely Clint Robinson will pinch hit. Then back to the top of the order. And Pence fouls it off at the plate.
Can we get an eye check? What do we got? Let's see. Oh.
That didn't take long, did it?
You know, Warriors like Hunter Pence love stuff like that. He is going to wear that like a badge for about a week.
And you could see him lobbying. He didn't want to come out of this game. No way.
He talked his way to stay in this game.
Did a Max Scherzer and Dusty routine. They got the runner caught off first, and they nail him at 2nd. And that retires the Giants here in the top of the 7th, but not before they get one more run. They got a 5-0 lead as we head to the bottom of number 7.
coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Jake Arrieta locked in today. He was scuffling 0-5 in his previous 5 starts. Went 8 shutout against the A's today. Big Poppy found his glove. Check it out. First time this season against the Dodgers. Starlin Castro, his first career grand slam, 79th at bat with the bases loaded. And get this, Giancarlo Stanton tonight for the Marlins hit a 504-foot home run. The Marlins are up 3-2 in the 5th. 504, Johnny.
504.
Yes.
That's what I thought you said.
It was in Colorado, but still, it's 504.
Sergio Romo comes on for the Giants.
His 17th appearance for Romo, 8 strikeouts, a couple of walks. Opponents hitting .262. Fastball slider change combination, and Wilmer Defoe leading it off.
And Wilmer is 1 for 2 this year as a pinch hitter, both hitting from the left side. We're in the bottom of the 7th. It's a 5-0 Giant lead with 10 hits in the ballgame. And that's with 5 base knocks. And Defoe hits one to center. Span started back, comes in a couple of steps and makes the grab, and there's 1 up and 1 down. Will Smith out in the Giants bullpen. He was acquired Monday. Appeared in 3 games so far. And Romo will now face the top of the Nats order with Trey Turner, and then Jason Worth and Bryce Harper. Turner a base knock in the 1st inning and got nailed at second on a great throw by Buster Posey. And Goodwin, I said Bryce Harper, Bryce out of the ball game. Goodwin making his major league debut in the top of this inning. He will follow Worth. And Trey Turner at the plate right now. The count is 2 balls and no strikes. And the 1-1 pitch. High fly ball. Just in the outfield grass. Drifting back easily is Brandon Crawford to make the grab. And there's 2 up and 2 down. Potomac Nationals conclude a 4-game homestand. That'll be tomorrow night at Fitchner Stadium. And tomorrow highlights include Sunday Family Fun Day with a pregame player autograph signing session. And Peanuts tickets are going fast. To join the party at the Fitz, how about calling 703-590-2311 or visit PotomacNationals.com. Sergio Romo coming in out of the Giants bullpen, retiring the first 2 Nats he faces tonight. And Worth with a strikeout, grounded into a double play and a walk tonight. Jason at .253 with 90 hits on the year. On base safely streak has gone to 37. Longest in the major leagues. So it's a 1-1 count. And the Nats left fielder. 1 for 4 night last night. And the pitch, a slider. And the count's 2-1. Romo's had some tough times the last 6 trips to the hill. He's given up 5 runs on 8 hits out of that bullpen. It works out to a 12.27 earned run average. Now the count to Worth, 3 balls and a strike.
Still going to get a slider here, I think.
Yep, you're right.
Hey, his MO is usually strike 1 with the fastball, then slider, slider, slider. But even in a 3-1 count, he goes slider to Jason Worth. He's sitting fastball. And when you talk to hitters, it's tough to pick up the rotation of the Romo slider. Looks like a fastball all the way.
He's got Worth now to 3-2 count. And the pitch. And a swing and a miss. So Romo comes in out of the bullpen, gets the job done. We go to the top of the 8th inning with a 5-0 lead for the Giants.
If you're used to people cleaning up after you, you just throw your uni on the clubhouse floor and they just come get it.
Sure.
But when you're a big leaguer and you're really frustrated about a strikeout, you just kind of throw everything everywhere. And it ends up looking like a yard sale. Watch this.
Bat.
There's the bat. There's the helmet.
Helmet, glove.
A little frustrated.
Okay.
Here comes a glove.
And
here comes, that was the wrist guard that didn't work.
Yeah.
He's frustrated. Look at that. Yard sale. Clean up on aisle 5, young man.
That boy doing a great job.
Hey, man, it's an emotional game. You get upset. You don't care where you throw your stuff. But that was a pretty long trail. That was impressive.
Giants top of the 8th. Oliver Perez comes in out of the Nationals bullpen. In his 47th appearance. Fastball, breaking ball. And a 2-3 record, 4.2 earned run average. Trying to hold this to a 5-0 game. And Hunter Pence takes a slider, the count 1-1. Joe Panik is next for the Giants, then Gregor Blanco. Strasburg had the Giants blank for the first 3 innings tonight. And they got to him for 2 in the 4th. Put a couple more up in the 5th and 1 in the 7th against the bullpen. And Oliver Perez becomes the Nats' 3rd pitcher of the night. And the 2-1 inside. Perez 12 holes and a 2-3 record this year. And he loses Hunter Pence. Pence with a leadoff walk to begin the Giants' 8th inning. And Joe Panik up for the 3rd time. Popped out to short. Walk, scored, drove in a run in the 4th inning with a bases loaded walk, and lined out to right his last time up. And Perez starts him off with a fastball, misses with a just outside. And the 1-0. Slow roll to the second. Turner on to Murphy at first. And there's one down, and Pence advances down to second. So Panic is retired, and Gregor Blanco will come up. Having an 0 for 3 night for Blanco.
If you've ever stood next to Hunter Pence, he is a large human. He doesn't look like it on the field. Maybe it's
6'3" or 4, isn't he?
The way he wears his uniform, but he is huge. And he's pulling off that look with the pants over his knees. If you have to be a tall guy to pull that off. If you're a short guy, you just look like an Oompa Loompa. And it doesn't look good.
No.
Tall guys, yes. Short guys, no. It's a good look. I like those. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Classic.
Well, Pence down at second. And with one down and Perez working against Blanco, fouls it off. And it's a 1-2 count. That's with a solid 5-1 win last night. Couple of home runs. Outstanding pitching from Gio. Tonight things have kind of completely turned around. Not a lot of hits and no runs so far. And 8 left on base for the Nationals. And the Giants will have 6 on. And Perez gets rid of Blanco with a strikeout.
Pretty good frisbee right here by Ali Perez. Drop down slider, little turn in the delivery. Blanco can't hold up. And Mike Maddox out to the mound again.
So the Giants have got a pinch hitter stepping in the box. And Perez with a strikeout. Blanco has been struck out 4 times in this game. I believe that's the Nationals' 11th strikeout among all the pitchers they've used. So Adrianza will pinch hit. One for 5 with his Giants road trip. And just came off the DL on Tuesday.
Not sure what the concern is with Hunter Pence on second base right now. 2 outs. Probably not going anywhere.
Wouldn't think so. Now Perez, a check of Pence down at second. Pitch to Adrianza inside. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
Sometimes pitchers will look at a runner and see him relaying stuff, doing something weird back there. I think Robles for the Mets confronted somebody the other night at second base. I think it was Mark Teixeira was on second, and he thought he was doing some funny business back there, and he confronted him.
Smart to do so, isn't it?
Yeah.
Adrianza just over the outstretched glove of Espinosa. Pence will score from second. And Adrianza had a notion to go to second. Wisely goes back to first. And the Giants lead it 6-0.
Giants
with an RBI.
Playing some hardball tonight. Off the bench, Adrianza. Pinch hit single. That scores Hunter Pence, who walked to start up the 8th inning. Just out of the reach of Danny Espinosa. 6-0 Giants.
Head back to the Giants. Top of the order with Span and Nunez and Brandon Belt. Well, after a 4-0 lead, the Giants the last 2 innings tacking on a run at each of them. With 11 base hits. And the pitch to Span. 1-1. Struck out in the first and grounded out to second, then the first and the third. His last 3 times. The Nats have not been able to keep Nunez off the bases tonight. Another base hit to left field. The throw to second's off the mark, and Span in with a double. Adrianza all the way around to third. So Denard gets his first hit of the night. And the Giants threatening again, and Dusty Baker's seen enough from Oliver Perez. And Papelbon getting set to come in from the Nationals bullpen. He'll try to hold it to a 6-0 San Francisco lead. Six to nothing in the top of the 8th. The call to the bullpen, and Jonathan Papelbon comes in to make his 37th appearance.
A fastball to low 90s, slider is the breaky ball, split is the changeup. 37th appearance for Jonathan, 30 strikeouts, 13 walks. Righties hitting .277, lefties .254.
Works out to a .237 batting average against Papelbon. So he inherits 2 runners, but 2 outs. He will face Nunez. Double, a triple and a single. And he brings that fastball high and tight. And Nunez just able to jump out of the way at the last moment. Papelbon 33 2/3 innings out of the bullpen, and Nunez, it's a long shot to left, but that's foul and short of the foul line.
He's trying for it.
Sure he is.
Last cycle for the Giants, September 15th, 2011. Pablo Sandoval, remember him?
Rather hefty third baseman, wasn't he?
Yeah, remember he tripled off the top of the wall, so he's inches away from a cycle already. A double, 2 triples, and a single.
And Papelbon into with a strike. He gets ahead of the count, 1-2. All-Star acquired from the Twins on July the 28th. Not only a heck of a good hitter, but a lot of stolen bases for Nunez, but 28. Stays alive and fouls it off to the right. Count is 1-2.
If you don't think he's not trying, 6-0 game. He's 4 for 4. He knows he needs a homer for the cycle. He's trying. Maybe not so much now in a 1-2 count, but he was earlier.
Nunez hit .296 with the Twins in 91 games. This is his 8th game with the Giants. Came in this game hitting only 100. And he swings and misses. That ends the 8th inning. Nunez fires that batting helmet down to the turf. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. And Brian Goodwin will meet the Giants pitcher for the first time in his
eighth inning, 6-0. If you missed it in the 3rd inning, Bryce Harper took a hack and sort of felt something. Kind of went down to bending at the waist. Paul Lessard, the head trainer, came out to look at Bryce. He would finish the at-bat, then come out of the game later. And per Nat's policy, they don't tell us about injuries during the game, so you'll find out when we find out after this ball game. So, I mean, that's all we got. So sometimes we're actually forced to speculate, but tonight we don't know what happened with Bryce Harper.
And we assume by the way he was reacting something happened. He felt uncomfortable. Will Smith comes in out of the Giants bullpen, becomes San Francisco's 4th pitcher of the night, following Strickland and Romo. And Brian Goodwin, recalled today from Syracuse, making his major league debut in this game against the Giants. Working on a pretty good year up at Syracuse. .284, 109 games, made the All-Star team, and among the leaders in RBIs and doubles and stolen bases. And one good thing about Goodwin, he can play all 3 outfield positions. Selected by the Nationals back in 2011 in that first-year player draft out of Miami-Dade Community College. And the count to Goodwin, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Pretty good slider by Will Smith.
Yeah, the 1-2 to Goodwin. Swinging a high fly to right field, drifting back is Pence on the warning track, and he reaches up and makes the catch. Didn't quite get all of that one.
Well, that was about the most exciting thing that's happened offensively all night long. And listen to this ovation. First big league at bat, I thought he got him. I wonder what he was thinking right here. As a hitter, you know, though. But maybe in your first big league at bat with all the adrenaline going, you don't know how the ball carries. But that's where the fence goes out right there. So he hit it to the deepest part of right center, right where the bullpen ends. So a pretty good big league at bat. He and Anthony Rendon having a laugh about it on the bench.
And why not?
Good effort.
25-year-old young kid making his major league debut. Smiles from Rendon and smiles from Brian Goodwin. Daniel Murphy trying to get his first base hit of this ball game. Grounded out to second and the first and the second again. 0 for 3 night. The average still up there at 354.
See by that practice swing, he's thinking about going to left. That was the inside out practice swing.
Let's see what Smith does with Murphy.
And with 2 ground balls to second and a ground ball to first, you see him firing those hands close to his body. He wants to hit something the other way right here. Get his hands back in that right slot. It's been a whole 3 at-bats since he hasn't had them there.
And 27-year-old Will Smith on the mound for the Giants. Bouncing ball up the middle. Ranging over to get it, Crawford. And he throws Murphy out. And there's 2 quick outs.
Let's go PNC inside the numbers and check out the receivers for both squads tonight. Buster Posey since 2009. Check out the slugging percentage. That leads all catchers. And the Buffalo this year leads all catchers in on-base percentage and slugging percentage. Brought to you by PNC.
So the Giants will go to the bullpen again as Will Smith comes in, gets the job done, and we'll take a break. We've got more coming up with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. 6-0 San Francisco. The season series tomorrow at Nats Park. Tanner Roark 11-6 on the year with a 3.02. He's 4-0 against the Giants with a 3.32 earned run average. He'll be opposed by Madison Bumgarner. And a 10-6 record with a 2.25. And he's 3-4 against the Nats in his career with a 2.90. Coverage all begins at 1 o'clock with Nats Extra with Byron Kerr and Ray Knight at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So Jake Peavy relegated to the bullpen with the acquisition of Matt Moore.
Yeah, fastball slider. He'll cut the fastball, curveball change to go with it. Last relief appearance was on the 3rd in Philadelphia. Through 3 pitches, went just a third of an inning. He gave up the game winner to the Phillies in the 12th inning.
He's appeared in 379 games, 377 were starts. Third time he's been out of the bullpen for the Giants. And he's facing Wilson Ramos with 2 down in the Nats 8th. 6-0 Giants with 15 hits. And Peavy delivers. Outside, 2 balls and a strike. No decision against the Nationals the last time out. He went 4 innings, 5 hits, and 3 runs. Struck out 7 in that game. And then Ramos, line drive to right field for another base hit. And the Nats catcher a 3-for-4 night.
Nats have 6 hits tonight. Wilson has 3, and he can flat out hit. Couple bolts up the middle, and this Jake Peavy sinker that runs right back down the middle. Wilson Ramos with a great approach. Look at the hands inside the baseball, the barrel trailing. That is a pretty swing, folks.
Going to right field for his 3rd base hit. And with 2 down, up comes Anthony Rendon for the 4th time. And Rendon with a shot to left field for a base hit. And the Nats a little something going here in the 8th inning. Back-to-back hits from Wilson Ramos and Anthony Rendon.
That might get the bullpen up. A couple of hard hit balls off Jake Peavy, who's only making his 3rd appearance ever as a reliever. And if you're wondering why Bruce Bochy's playing matchup baseball up by 6, he respects the firepower of the Nats. He's managed too many baseball games to know that this one's not over as Derek Law gets loose in the Giants bullpen.
And he's got a 3-time All-Star out there on the mound right now. The Nats are touching him up a little bit. 1 for 2 night for Espinosa. Ramos at second, Rendon at first with 2 away. And Danny Espinosa trying to keep things going. Pitch in there for strike with a fastball at 90. Jake Peavy, 15 years in the big leagues. A lot of those with San Diego. And he's ahead in the count to Danny Espinosa. And it's 0-2.
That was Wilson's 13th 3-hit game. 13th 3-hit game. Martin Prado's the only guy in the National League with more. That is a ton of 3-hit games.
Well, you talk about having a solid year.
In a contract year, yeah.
Yes, sirree.
Pay me.
Here, let's talk about this.
Pay me now.
Please. The 0-2 pitch to Danny Espinosa on the way from Jake Peavy. Yeah, the Giants got some fans here tonight making some chants heard and being overpowered by the national fans. Giants in desperate need of some wins, only 5-14 since the break. And they have dropped 7 of their last 11 games. Espinosa steps out. And Peavy set to go back to work. Outside.
I mean, if you're going to somehow get back in this game with 4 outs remaining, somebody has to hit one of the seats. Maybe a couple of somebodies.
But a couple of close ones tonight, but nobody's gone deep for either club. Once the Nats only have 7 base hits. And the 1-2 pitch. Bouncing ball into right field for a base hit. So the Nats get on the board, and Ramos will score, and Espinosa drives in his 56th run of the year. Good at bat.
A nice swing by Danny Espinosa's second hit of the night. So a single hit by pitch, a fielder's choice. Danny now 2 for 3 and add an RBI to the mix, staying right up the middle. Joe Panik gave Danny a scare. He got close to that, but that scores a Buffalo. Anthony Rendon to third. Line moving here in the bottom of the 8th, and Bruce Bochy to his bullpen once again.
He's already had 3 calls. This is call number 4. 6-1 San Francisco. On lead again, the call to the bullpen for the Giants, and this time it's out there for Derek Law, which means San Francisco's only got like 3 guys left in that pen.
Nats saw Derek Law in San Francisco. Pretty good fastball, 90 to 94. A lot of movement on it. Good curve, good slider to complement it. All of his stuff is sharp, and he'll quick pitch you, so you have to be ready with 2 strikes.
Oh, Bruce Bochy not wasting any time at getting some of these guys out of the ballgame. Well, he got Rendon down at third. Ramos has scored, and Danny Espinosa's RBI here in the 8th inning.
Boy, the game has fallen to Ben Revere a number of times tonight. First time up, he had first and second. Second time up, he had bases loaded. Now he has 2 more men on.
There goes the runner, and a swing and a high fly ball to center field, drifting back. Denard Span should have it, gets it, and 1 pitch, and out of the inning comes Derek Law, and we go to the top of the 9th. Giants 6 and the Nationals 1. Ray Knight standing by for our Nets Extra postgame show presented by W.B. Mason. As soon as this game is over, which is not yet, 6-1 as we head to the 9th inning. And Jonathan Papelbon back out to work again, as the Giants have gone to the bullpen now 5 times tonight.
And don't forget, Jonathan Papelbon due to lead off the bottom of the 9th. He'll be ready. We know that. He ain't going to hit, but he'll be ready.
And he will face Brandon Belt to lead off the 9th inning. Belt the last 2 times up, a couple of doubles. And swinging at the first offering from Papelbon. Struck out his first 2 times up tonight against Strasburg, who, unless the Nationals can pull off a quick rally here, will have lost his 2nd game of the year in his shortest outing of the season, 4 2/3 innings. And Papelbon quickly heading the count to Belt 0-2. Swinging a high fly ball to right field. If it stays fair, it's gone, and it is. Brandon Belt with his 13th home run of the season and his 54th RBI. 55th RBI.
That was a bomb.
7-1 Giants.
Just a matter of how far Brandon Belt's 13th home run of the year went. He dropped the bat immediately. He knew it. And you're wondering, is this 3rd deck or 2nd deck? And it's the back of the 2nd deck. Just missed the facing of the 3rd deck. Wow.
That's only the 3rd home run that Papelbon's given up this season. And it was a no-doubter about that one. And the Giants have 13 hits to go with their 7 runs. And Buster Posey joining the hit parade tonight with a single. Another single, a sac fly to right. And a home run to start off the inning. The Belt now walked to Posey. And that'll bring up Brandon Crawford. Then Hunter Pence and Joe Paddock.
We haven't really seen a 3-run lead since Mark Melanson's been here. It's been basically Melanson getting work in a blowout and some 4 or 5-run leads. And we're all anxious to see what Dusty Baker does in the 7th and 8th inning to get to his new closer. And if he's thinking about using Jonathan Papelbon, he's not really helping his cause here tonight.
Mark on the left and Sean Kelly on the right in the bullpen. And a good look at Brandon Crawford for the Giants with nobody out, top of the 9th, 1 run in for a 3rd consecutive inning, 7-1 lead. And the pitch, that's a line drive up the middle for another base hit. A homer, a walk, and a single. And a rough 9th inning for Papelbon.
I mean, if you go out there and go bip, 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 and you have a quick 1, 2, 3 inning, now your manager's thinking, okay, maybe I use you in the 7th one day with a 3-run lead. Or in the 8th even with a 3-run lead. But if you go out there and walk a few guys and give up some hard hit balls, now your manager's thinking twice about that.
And that's exactly what's happening. And that's Dusty Baker on the left and Mike Maddox on the right. And Hunter Pence up for the 5th time tonight. A 6th time. And still nobody out here in the 9th. Pence struck out, singles, struck out again, hit into a force play, and then a walk. And the count's even to Hunter Pence. And the pitch. Slider, and it's 2-1.
Should be a good one tomorrow with Bumgarner and Roark.
Yep. Matt Cain in line to get his 4th win of the year tonight. And Pence a little late in the fastball, fouls it down the right side. And the count runs to 2-1.
Nats have had their success against Madison Bumgarner in the past. And he's coming off a rough outing against the Phillies where he gave up 10 hits and a bunch of unearned runs.
He will start for the 24th time tomorrow. 4-time All-Star. And the count is full at 3-2. Yusmeiro Petit in the Nats bullpen.
Now, the last thing Dusty Baker wanted to do is use another pitcher.
And the Papelbon delivery, bouncing ball to third. Rendon with a quick toss to first. But it's a foul ball. Gary Davis making the quick call behind third base. Yeah, that game against the Phillies, FP, I guess was his worst start of the year.
I'm going to guess yes.
You guessed right.
I haven't seen too many, though.
He had gone 19 consecutive starts of 6 innings or more before that game in Philadelphia on Tuesday. Bouncing ball, Espinosa on the second for one, back to first. And they get the lead runner, and there's 2 down.
Did Trey Turner touch the base? I think he did. I saw Ron Wotus, the Giants bench coach, run down to the phone. Maybe they're just trying to get their 9th inning pitcher ready. Pretty nice flip. I just wanted to see it again. That's why I said that. Ooh, that's close.
Yeah. And they get the lead runner. And Joe Panik will step in. With a 7-1 lead. And Buster Posey takes the lead off third. Strasburg went 4 2/3. Trinan came in. Perez came in. That Papelbon. And the pitch, bouncing ball to Murphy. He'll take it unassisted. And the Giants are done in the 9th inning, not before they get that home run from Brandon Belt to make it a 7-1 lead. the ninth inning, and Bruce Bochy again making another pitching change. In comes George Cantos.
We see the Arsenal fastball, slider. He'll cut the fastball, changeup. Fastball averages 91, slider 84. 41st appearance, ERA at 2.45. Strikeouts to walks, nice. Opponent's average 2.13.
Cantos making his 41st appearance out of the Giants' pen. That means they have the closer, Santiago Garcia, out in the bullpen, and Javier Lopez. That is it.
I'll tell you what, I've seen Bruce Bochy manage a lot in the postseason, obviously, because of the Nats' experience with him and being around. He's managing right now like he's in the playoffs, and he's trying to jumpstart his ball club. I don't think there's ever been a better manager in October than Bruce Bochy, because he just throws the book out the window and manages by his gut. And what we saw in the last 2 games in San Francisco and we're seeing here tonight, he's managing like it's October, trying to get his team going.
And Clint Robinson will pinch hit. And Cantos starts him off with a fastball. And he misses on the year. Robinson coming off the bench, 6 for 32 with a home run and 4 RBIs. And Clint goes opposite field with a foul ball down the left side.
And that's the way you manage in October. You totally throw the book out, because it's not the same as a regular season.
Yeah.
You're managing to win that game like it's the last game you'll ever play, even if it's game 1 of a series.
And the pitch to Robinson in there for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You manage that way in the regular season, you'll burn out your pitching staff, you'll burn out your team. But Bruce Bochy, as we've seen, is really good in October. He has the jewelry to prove it.
Giants tonight banging out 14 hits to lead this one 7-1. And the count's even at 2-2. To Clint Robinson, hitting .212 on the year. Driven in 22 runs, hit 5 round trippers. And George Cantos delivers to Robinson. Swinging fouled at the plate, and that got the home plate umpire Carlos Torres. That stung.
Tell you what, last night's game had such an awesome flow to it, such a good tempo. Gio got the ball and was going. There was action, there was homers, there were great plays on defense. Tonight is just the opposite. This game has never really had a good pace to it or good flow. And Steven Strasburg, a guy who relies on that a lot with his rhythm, never really got into it tonight. I think he had to really fight to get through that 4th inning and emptied his tank to get out of that bases loaded jam, giving up 2 runs, and didn't have much left for the 5th. And you can't fault him, because he's been their guy this year. Just a little off tonight.
Yeah. Been their guy to the tune of 15 wins, and Robinson strikes out to begin the Nationals' night.
And on the plus side of things, the Mets have lost and the Marlins are getting crushed. So just a day off the schedule. Should look like that in the morning based on what's happened tonight.
7-game lead over Miami, 9.5 over the Mets. And with 1 away, back to the top of the order with Trey Turner. He's up for the 5th time. Single, a walk. Lined out to short and popped out to short. And Trey with a .321 batting average. And the pitch fouled at the plate. This is Trey's 20th game with the ball club.
I mean, there's guys with gray hair, scouts behind home plate, really focusing in on Trey Turner right now. So moving forward, it's going to be interesting to see how the league operates against Trey, because they're saying this is the guy you get out. This is the guy that makes him go. So how does he progress moving forward? Does he make the adjustments with the league? My guess is yes. He's a real smart kid. He's going to know how they're going to adjust to him. But shortly, if not already, he's going to become the focus of a lot of meetings pre-series.
And he mentioned the other night, the more he plays, the more comfortable he is. feeling much more comfortable now than any time this year he's been up here.
I mean, if I'm playing the Nats, that's my number. And I'm going to the meeting. My first thing is we got to get this guy out. He's a game changer when he gets on first base. So how do we get him out? So now you have scouts pay attention to player X, player Y, player Z, but they'll really focus in on the guy that's hot and the guy that can change the game. And right now for the Nats, I guarantee you they're really locking in on Trey Turner. And to Daniel Murphy's credit, they've locked in on him all year, and he's still making the adjustments, and he's still hitting.
So it's up to Jason Worth with 2 down here in the 9th to keep it going. A drive to right and a running grab with one hand. Did he hold on to it? He did, and the ball game is over. Great running catch by Hunter Pence in the deep right corner. And the Giants have won the ball game, and they've not only done that, they've handed Steven Strasburg, but his only second loss of the year. He's now 15-2 on the year. For FP Santangelo and Dan Colco, I'm Johnny Holiday. Our final score, the Giants 7 and the Nationals 1. How about joining us coming up tomorrow on Mass, and the Nats and Giants wrap up this series. Coverage beginning at 1 o'clock tomorrow with Tanner Rohr against Madison Bumgarner. And tonight, a tough one for the ball club. We'll go back at it tomorrow and try to win the series. This has been a presentation of Mass, and stay tuned for Nats Extra postgame with Ray and Byron. That's next.